We got to talk about a new phenomenon that's going on in sports. Is it good for the players? Are they being smart, savvy, or whatever other word that you want to use for it? And we're going to use Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as the man who just fired his agents as the example. Also, next thing up, athletes are being robbed all over the place. There are Chilean gangs and other gangs that are breaking into their houses. What the hell is going on there? And we also have to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Aaron Rodgers himself. Where is the best destination for that man? Where is it? And also, where is he going to go? And we got that and so much more here on the Unafraid Show. Make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show, and most importantly, share. Let's get to it. All right, so we're going to start with the new phenomenon in sports, which is players deciding to represent themselves in terms of dropping their agents. And is this a good idea? Because I believe that this is smart depending on your situation. Like agents clearly have value. Clearly have value. But for a guy like Shea Gildas Alexander, because according to Chris Haynes, he's parting ways with his agents, Thad Foucher and Joe Smith of the Wasserman Group, and is going to represent himself going forward on all on-court matters. Now, Shea Gildas is in line for a 4-year, $293.4 million Supermax contract extension this summer. He is going to get that deal. And with the way the contracts are structured in the NBA, with especially with super maxes, and when you know you are getting a max deal, why would you pay somebody up to 4% of that contract if you're a guy like SGA? Now, and we're just talking about the contract part of it. Because we have seen Richard Sherman represent himself in the NFL, Bobby Wagner, Lamar Jackson signed a mega deal. And for guys like that, there's no point in having an agent negotiate your contract and pay 4% because what you can actually do is only pay a lawyer, like the lawyers that draft the contracts for the agents, the ones who aren't specifically lawyers. You're looking at $150,000, $200,000 to write the contract and make sure all the language is up to par and of standard for you and your representation. That's what matters. And so, but here is where agents do have a lot of value. It is for guys who are not necessarily in line for massive deals because agents are going to know the market. They're going to know that franchise, how to talk to them, and all of those things. That's where the agent value is most representative of that, right? For players getting that second deal around there, or people who are looking for work and don't have, aren't a franchise player and they may be moving around a little bit more. Agents are more valuable to those guys. If you're a first round pick, actually, even if you're coming into the NFL draft at all, paying for your training coming out of college is expensive. Agents typically foot the bill for that sort of thing. So there's value there, but they're going to get it back. And if you are a first round pick, if you're a surefire first round pick, like you're, Travis Hunter or somebody else, uh, uh, an agent to negotiate your deal when it's already slotted, when in reality, the only thing that you're really going to be fighting about is some bonuses and your offset language to where if they cut you, then who pays for it, the current team or the next team that picks you up. That's basically it in the NFL. And in SGA's case, why would you pay somebody this? Now, he has retained, SGA has retained representation for brand endorsements, and that's with Simon Grebrula of Isla Management. Now, there is massive value there, and you're going to pay way more than 4% there. You're going to be looking at in between probably 15 and 20% on any marketing dollars. Now, those are valuable because those aren't just walking in the door. When Tag Heuer or Nike or whatever other brand walks through the door or they're looking for people to pitch, that's where your agent, your marketing agency, and all of those things, that's where they earn their money at. So that's why they're paid at a, higher rate. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a dude who's probably going to win the MVP this year. And it's possible that he looked at Wasserman's basketball roster and realized, like, damn, I'm the only superstar here. Because his previous agent's best client outside of him are Lugans Dort, who actually had fantastic representation if you know the history of how he went from undrafted at his agent's request to making almost $90 million over the duration of his first three contracts. So it benefited Lugans Dort. But outside of SGA, Wasserman's best clients are Domantas Sabonis, DeAndre Hunter, Patrick Williams, and like borderline all-stars that don't exactly measure up to MVP candidates who may be moving around and all of that stuff. So remember that. That's the thing that matters. So SGA can actually save himself. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander can actually save himself almost $12 million on this deal by doing something that a few players before him have done. And those guys that I mentioned earlier were Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, but then I thought about some more. You got DeAndre Hopkins, Laramie Tunsil, Russell Okung, who then not only did he negotiate his own, he negotiated to get paid in Bitcoin as well. And Lamar Jackson. They thought that it was a mistake to have his family represent him. Wrong. Double wrong. And now you got Jaden Daniels' mom working up to speed to represent him once it's time for him to be coming into a $60 million deal plus annually, 4 to 5 years from now. This is smart. Keep it in-house. Keep it in the business, especially if you are dealing with a superstar. Now, I know my agent friends ain't going to like it, but this is the reality. This is what they would tell their kids because they'd be like, I'll do your deal for you because it's keeping it in-house. Now, think about this. Joel Embiid did his last contract. James Harden went 6 years without an agent before his former one, Rob Pelinka, left to become the general manager of the Lakers. Now, think about this. Harden did end up hiring an agent in 2023. At that point in time, he wasn't the top dog in the league no more. This was smart for him at that point in time because he had to figure out where to go from there and who wanted him and the market for him out in the world. When you have to figure out what the market for you is out in the world, that's a different situation. Or when you're moving around a lot, that's a different situation. That's when agents come in handy and are very valuable and earn their money if they're good ones. All right, next thing up. Athletes are being robbed all over the place. Now, last year, the FBI warned professional athletes that the threat of burglary while they were playing games was on the rise. And this week, law enforcement dropped an indictment on some of those responsible for the thefts. And today we actually found out that Carson Beck down in Miami now, him and his girlfriend, one of the Cavender twins, they just had 3 cars stolen. This is a real thing. And there used to be a time where athletes were protected, where people were like, listen, I'm not robbing these athletes or shooting at any of this because this is going to turn into a high profile case. And we don't want that. Like we want to keep doing our robbing, doing this under like low lights. But then you bring the lights on it. And according to a federal unsealed criminal complaint, 7 migrants from Chile were part of a South American theft group that actually engaged in a nationwide spree of burglaries that victimized high-profile athletes, including Joe Burrow, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes. Now, I'm going to put up a little picture of this group up on the screen. Them your boys. Then they turned around like some idiot criminals and posted pictures of themselves. Are you kidding me? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, are you kidding me? You posting pictures of yourself with the stolen jersey, with the stolen jewelry. They posted a picture with Joe Burrow's jersey on and all of that stuff. Like, what are you doing? Damn dumbass criminals. Anyways, so the complaint claims that Chilean national Sergio Ortega Cabello, 38 years old, and six co-conspirators that range in age from 20 to 27 actually robbed Patrick Mahomes and Kelce last October. And then they hit Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis home in November. So they've been going all over the place because they know where you are going to be. Actually, they don't know where you're. Well, some with the athletes, they know where you're going to be because they know your schedule. They know that if Joe Burrow is playing in Cincinnati on Monday night, where are him and his family going to be? At the game. Now, out of town could be different because you might have a girl at the house. Um, they know your schedule. They know that if Taylor Swift has a tour date or that she's expected to be at Travis Kelce's game, now it's time to run in them houses. And according to the NFL, they issued a security alert to teams and the Players Association warning that they've become, quote, increasingly targeted for burglaries by organized and still skilled groups. So, in a and this is for college players as well. You are a walking billboard for with your jewelry that you have on, the cars that you drive, all of this stuff, which some of it is actually marketing because you're trying to make yourself more popular, or the brands that you're associated with, they actually bring more attention to you, which makes more money, which also makes you more a bigger target. And these dudes are doing extensive research. They've even posed as gardeners, joggers. They've even faked home deliveries, everything else just to get an up close look and everything else. And they sound smart, but they actually decided to take a selfie while they were in Bobby Portis's home and even wore Chiefs gear in the thing. They actually even took photos of the other robberies as well. Now, we don't know, honestly, if this one group is responsible for all of the robberies lately, but there have been a bunch. You go back to last September. NBA guard Mike Conley of the Timberwolves at the time had his home broken into while he was attending a Minnesota Vikings game. Jewelry was stolen. Then the next day, Karl Anthony Towns, the big purr, thieves broke into his stuff and got away with $100,000 worth of stuff. Then in October, Kelce Mahomes were hit. November, Dallas Stars hockey player Tyler Seguin, $500,000 in watches were stolen from his home while he was playing a home game at American Airlines Arena. They caught it on video with the security cameras. December, Burrow and Luka got hit. Last month, Pittsburgh Penguins star, what's his name, Malkin, he joined the list when he got jacked for his 3 Stanley Cup championship rings. They know what they're doing, and they must have a fence who is able to get off of this stuff. That's why I think that all of these crimes are related, because to get off of stuff like that, you have to have people who know people specifically that want it. Because those are specific items that are hard to get off of, like championship rings and stuff like that. But watches and all that stuff in general, like if you buy an AP or you buy a Rolex, their serial numbers, they know who bought those things. They don't know necessarily if they've been transferred, but they know who bought them. But the people, they don't care at that point in time. They're like, oh, listen, ain't nobody just gonna pull up the serial number on my watch. They just see the damn watch. Now, the indictment also cites that an unnamed Buccaneers player got robbed, as well as a player of the Memphis Grizzlies. And the criminals have been publicly using data available. But it may seem like harmless crime. Oh, well, listen, I'm not feeling sorry for them. They're rich. But what happens when a player is home when he's not supposed to be, like Sean Taylor? That's the issue. Where Sean Taylor died because people broke in his house. They thought he was going to be in Washington because it was during the season. It's tricky and it's scary. All right, the next thing up that we got to talk about, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, yes. Where will Aaron end up this season? Because he ain't going back with the Jets. Now, several teams are in the market for a quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers is on the market, former NFL MVP. But the question is, what is the market for Aaron? Because if you're Aaron Rodgers, you ain't just going to take any old job, right? You don't want the Tennessee Titans job. You don't want, another team that roster is not ready to compete. That don't make no damn sense. So he don't want to take any offer, but then other teams are like, we don't know if we want him. Because you got to look at the teams that need a quarterback badly and need a bridge and a mentor. So the question is Aaron Rodgers going to be the mentor that Cleveland needs, Tennessee needs? Probably not. That's not going to happen. Because Aaron Rodgers marches to the beat of his own drum, and you don't want to teach your rookie to do what Aaron Rodgers is doing. He's a one of one. He's an enigma, as his documentary states. So you don't want to teach your young player that. So that's why they don't want Aaron Rodgers there. But the question is, what about the Rams? Because if they choose to move on from Matthew Stafford, this lets you wonder if Aaron Rodgers, if he can hang out in LA without getting distracted with the local politics. Because that actually might be a reasonable thing for him, because that's a division that's winnable. And the answer for Aaron might actually be to hang back and wait for a contender that has a quarterback go down for an extended period of time so he can come in and be like, hey, boy, I'm ready. Save the day. Or actually, here's an idea that nobody has really pondered. What if nobody comes for Aaron Rodgers? What if nobody calls? What if he does not get opportunities like he thinks? That's an option. And then one team that I haven't mentioned is, what happens if Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers end up joining forces with the Steelers? What's that? Because the Steelers have not had a good quarterback in a long time. And Aaron Rodgers is nothing like he used to be. However, I do believe that Aaron Rodgers can do what Russell Wilson did last year, which was an admirable job. Admirable job. I don't love their offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, out there. I think that it could be Arthur or it could be Mike Tomlin, who's extremely conservative offensively. But here's the thing that I do believe why this could work, why Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers, why it could work. Because Mike Tomlin has already shown that he doesn't mind a difficult or misunderstood athlete. Dude had Martavius Bryant. He's had, you know, Antonio Brown. He's had Ben Roethlisberger. He's had guys that have had some issues off the field as well. And Steelers fans as a whole have shown that they have the ability to overlook a quarterback's personal flaws in order to chase a championship. And the Steelers have receiver talent. And even if they lose Najee Harris in free agency, they still have a good running game with Jaylen Warren. And Arthur Smith has some experience with Matt LaFleur, who Aaron Rodgers won an MVP under. Now, I don't think it would be as complicated as, mRNA science for Aaron Rodgers to figure out the offense, but that could potentially work because he can do everything that Russell Wilson did last year. And Wilson did have more yards per attempt last year, slightly better touchdown to interception ratio. And Rush actually had more rushing yards in 6 less games. But here is the point, is that Aaron Rodgers may be able to unlock something with Mike Tomlin for both of their sakes. Now, there was an article that came out about Mike Tomlin and him not liking to throw over the middle of the field. And statistically, this has actually been something that Aaron Rodgers also doesn't like to do. Because in that article posted by Dusty Everly of the Packer Report from 2023, he pointed out that it's not even that he can't, because Aaron Rodgers' efficiency numbers over the middle have been good. He just doesn't like to. So maybe this isn't necessarily the upgrade over Russ that the Steelers need. But if the Steelers don't have a bridge situation, this may be their only situation and their only option. And if not the Steelers, where else might he be able to go? You guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and share the show. Peace out. Catch you guys later.